recording. I bet you felt nothing. So, Lisi, you're in Northbrook. Whatever. How's the weather there? Is it so much different than the city of Chicago? Chicago burbs. We are all Illinois right now. I hope somebody else comes in who's not from Illinois. Hey, guys, we're so excited to be here, aren't we? I'm wearing a Christmas headband, but you can't see the top unless I bend down. Hey, so we have a lot to cover about pitching, and I'm going to start talking a lot faster than I just was. Welcome! I'm very excited to do this because pitching is pretty much my favorite topic in all of the land, along with all the other business topics, but this is the best one. So I have twice as much to say as usual. We're going to get going. I need you guys in the chat room to put in, Lisi, you're going to have to learn from Kim about how to put your business URL in there. If you are actually on the webinar right now, put your business URL, put the city that you're in, put how many kids you have. We're not considering what you put in the chat room a pitch because we're going to talk about how you're doing pitching all wrong and we're going to fix it today. This is a really, really good time to figure this out if you have not nailed it because January's around the corner and you guys need to be pitching a lot. We can talk about when, we can talk about where, we can talk about how. That's the most important one because starting 2019, you're going to be pitching like crazy for the rest of your lives. That's a little bit facetious, but you know what I mean. Okay, so this is how the whole thing is going to go. Hi, Robbie. Lee Grace Beauty Consulting. I don't even know what that is. Where's the URL? Janelle, thank you for figuring out how to put a freaking URL in correctly. Janelle wins. Okay, 10 points for her. Anyway, listen. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me in like 1 minute, and then I'm going to go over why we are talking about pitching correctly, because a lot of you are pitching incorrectly. You're doing it wrong. You've tried different things. It's not working. It's kind of working. It is working. You want to see more results, or you're here because what is pitching? And then I'm going to go into my top five ways to pitch like you really mean it, okay? Because you really mean it. And then I'm going to talk about some tools that you guys can use. Anytime you have a question, throw it in the chat area. If I don't see it, repeat yourself, and I will come back and answer it. So really quick, for those of you who are new here, raise your hand. Are any of you new here? I don't know some of you. But I am Jill Salzman. I'm very excited to be here. I am the founder of the Founding Moms, where we help mom entrepreneurs build their businesses all the time, every single day, 24/7. We do sleep for like 5 hours, but whatever. Anyway, so my first business I began was in 2005. I've been doing this crap for a really long time. I managed bands. I ran a company called Paperwork Media where I sent out bands on tour. I did their publicity. I did their booking. I have a lot of fun music business stories, some of which I share over time in our daily emails. And about 2 years into running that, I started my second business, which was completely unrelated. It had nothing to do with music. I started a baby jewelry company where I ended up taking my then 6-month-old to Target and doing this photo shoot. Oops, no, Bumble bells. I sold bumble bells, which are little sterling silver anklets with bells on them. They're right here. Look, see these guys. I sold these for $50 a pop off of a website thinking like, hey, let me try selling products for a little while. I ended up selling this in 2011, selling the business. I ended up shutting down my music business, and I started the Founding Moms in 2010 because I realized there are a lot of us who have a lot of questions about business, and no one's paying attention to mom entrepreneurs. What the heck, guys? We're an extremely savvy, sophisticated group. Are we not? Raise your hand. What's up? So we have lots of offline founding exchanges around the world where you get to meet up with other people face to face and talk at their eye holes and their ear holes about what you do and figure out how to solve all the problems that you're having. Just get some support. Let some steam off. And we also have an online community called the Founding Moms Community where we have a lot going on. We have a closed Facebook group that acts as our forum. We have video courses that come out every single month. We have a business coaching program. We have a directory. I'm not going to go on, but if you stay on this webinar and you're brand new here at the end of this webinar, I'm giving away lots of cool things like VIP coaching and services from other service providers for stuff that you need if you join us today. If you join the Founding Moms community and you become a member. It's so exciting. It's $35 a month. You should join today if you're not a member. But anyway, stay with me because I don't do that until the end of the webinar. So let's get into this, okay? First of all, I don't see any questions that I don't think. Does anybody have questions about pitching? You might have come because you were like, oh, I knew Jill would wear a Christmas headband. But for those of you who came for other reasons, like you are wondering what pitching really is, what it means, where do you use it, I'm going to stop talking about what you might be thinking. If you have any questions about it, put them in because I want to answer all of them. But I am going to get going on, and I'm going to put on better glasses so I can see my own notes. You know what I mean? That's important. So, hey, listen, I like to talk about why we're thinking about this so you guys really understand why I'm giving you these tips. Tips don't often make sense unless you understand it. So the first thing, and when I do this, I'm looking at my notes just so you know. The first thing I want to make sure you guys know, a lot of you pitch things all the time. You don't even know you do it. You're sending an email to somebody because you want them to buy something. You send an email out to the press. You tweet out at them. You put something on Facebook. You're basically walking this earth always pitching. And here's the thing. There's an art to it. You can't just type out what you think people will know or will want to know or what you think is the most interesting. Thanks, Susie. Love you. I want you guys to know that there is an art to getting out a pitch. And it's not a secret art. It's just that you can't walk around thinking, I'm just going to tell people that I run this company and they're going to be so interested. Because you know what? If we're not, okay? We're not, all right? We're busy running our own companies. We're busy working at our own TV stations and newspapers. We're busy buying other crap. You know what I mean? So we don't really, so that's the crux of this whole thing. Art of pitching is really honing in on why the recipient should care about what you do, right? Now, let's be honest. You care an awful lot about what you do, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. You care a lot about it. You're quite passionate about it. If you're not, that's another webinar for another time. But presumably, you are so passionate about it, we want to transfer that. That's the art of this. We want to transfer it to somebody in a very specific way, which we're going to get into. Kim, thanks. All right, fine. I'll keep talking. My second reason you need to wrap your head around why all of this is important is because you need to understand the gravity of the situation. There is too much noise out in the world, right? I know you know that. It bears repeating. There are so many emails that the people you mean to get your pitching out to receive. It's crazy, okay? It's nuts. So if you're pitching to the press, I would love to know, you guys, are you pitching more to customers and clients? Are you pitching more to press? Are you pitching more to strangers in thin air? Who are you pitching? Because if you're pitching to the press, they're getting like 200 to 400 emails a day. If you're pitching to people on Twitter, you do know those streams fly by. Facebook, everybody sees a million posts all day long, right? Clients in thin air. Lisi, I love your honesty. So what you need to know is that there is so much noise that part of the art of getting your pitch right is knowing who you're pitching, sitting in their shoes for a second, or rather in their chairs, and figuring out what are they seeing all the time and what's going to make you stand out. Let me start off by telling you that if you have been attaching PDFs, giant high-res photos of yourself, high-res photos of your product or your service, I want to crush your computer on behalf of everybody you've pitched. No attachments! Okay, moving on. We'll come back to that. Because that's substantive. That's not why we're talking about this. I'm getting ahead of myself. Right. So a really big problem that a lot of you have that I see pretty frequently, I have somehow ended up on lists, so I am pitched often. I do a lot of pitching. I do a lot of successful pitching now. I used to do a lot of unsuccessful pitching. That's why we're here. But I also receive a lot of pitches. And here's a mistake that you might have made that I'm pretty sure you've made somewhere along the line. Your pitch is full of too much stuff, right? You have a lot going on. Your business does a lot of cool things. You want to get it all out to the world. And just like your website shows, you are pitching 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you could do on that TV show, in that article. You have many different aspects of your business, and you want them to know all of them in case they're interested in one of them, right? But you can't do that. It's too much. It's not telling me exactly why you're a standout and what's the one reason I should pay attention to you, right? And so a lot of people spend a lot of years fighting that concept, fighting the whole, well, but I have more to show. I don't want to pick just one. It's like if you have 3 kids and you're like, who's your favorite? And you're like, I don't have a favorite. I don't want to tell you who my favorite is. But truly, you don't have a favorite because they're all unique and special and wonderful and you have so much love, right? So pitching is different than motherhood in that you need to pick one. And it could be just one that will get my attention. And guess what? Then I'm all ears. Then I am okay and open to hearing about all the other things you have to offer. You're pitching to beauty product companies. Awesome, Robbie. It's not Roby, right? I feel like I had Lisi's name correct before and I didn't. You're pitching to customers. Yes. Cool. We're going to talk about all of it. And if I don't hit upon it or you're confused, seriously, just ask me. Because the more you ask me, the more I remember to talk about. Because the brain works in mysterious ways. Okay. So now you understand the 3 things I really need you to put into the noggin with the egg noggin. You got to put in there that this is like an art. There's a way to craft your message so it's perfect. You need to know the recipient is getting a lot of what you send already. So how do you stand out? And you also, what was the 3rd thing I said? Oh yeah, you need to hone in on one thing. I recently sat down with one of our Founding Moms members, and she explained to me how she has 5 different businesses. It's a lot. And each of them, honestly, after she walked me through them, each of them deserves attention. Just like if you have one business, but you have 5 things going on, each of them might deserve your attention. You might do consulting. You might do speaking. You might have written an ebook. You might have a product you're pitching. You might have a really cool story about why you started. Those are all really cool things that a press person might be interested in covering. But what makes you stand out? So if you can hone that and tell us what the one thing is that you want to work on pitching, at least for the next few weeks, can you just write it into the chat room so that we can all learn from you? Or when you say it out loud, you're going to see, that's not interesting. And by the way, everybody else in here, feel free to tell whomever is posting you don't think it's that interesting. Because we need to be honest with each other. This is business. This is not feelings department. Okay? You are not pitching a business full of emotion. You are pitching something practical that I can review, that I can respond to. There is obviously, if you're pitching to a customer or a client, an emotional aspect of it where I want to trust you. I want to buy from you, but that's not about the thing you're selling. If you're selling me hand cream, you can write down, Jill, I want to pitch hand cream. And if I tell you that's really boring, I don't think you're going to take it to heart. And if you do, this is a good place to practice not taking it to heart. So if somebody wants to be brave, come on, I'm just going to wait for this one because somebody needs to be brave. Thank you, Lisi. Welcome to Chicago. Okay. So we already talked a little bit about it, and some of you put in whom you are pitching to. Now I want to know what you're pitching. What are you guys pitching? And get specific. I know you're pitching specifically to hotel sales, but what are you pitching? That you can change all the doors in the hotels? What are you pitching? Okay, Nora nailed it. Why life stories are worth preserving and how to get started. Doesn't what Nora just wrote make you want to know more? Hey, Myra, I don't know, you tell me. Food photography. Okay, but yeah, what? Food photography. That you can do it, that you supply the food for it, that you just supply the lenses for it, that you stand there and you rearrange the stuff on the tables. Tax return prep. Liz, I love that because that is something everyone needs. But you are swimming in a sea of other people who also offer tax return prep, right? So we're going to make it stand out. Okay. Okay, wait, hold on. You're making me want to go on because I want to get into the top 5 so you guys can start honing. Angelique, as your first Black woman, that's right. Amazing. Already you are a standout, so that's really useful. Existing process, find efficiencies. Janelle, all right, we're going to not use such big words that are going to have me get lost and have to think. So here's one major thing that Janelle brought up that I want you guys to make sure you understand. The recipient of any pitch anywhere whatsoever, customer, client, press person, newspaper writer, whomever, you don't want to make them have to think at all. I'm not saying treat them like an idiot, but you cannot have them sit there and go, she wants to talk about efficiencies of processes. What does that mean? Efficiency of what process? What process is she referring to and what kind of efficiency is she talking? Big words often have us try to digest what exactly you're talking about. So you want to KISS this one. You know it? Keep it simple, silly. And you want to make sure that I don't have to do any work when I read your pitch. Okay, classes straightforward, Robbie. Love that. Jen, I agree with you. Okay, so I'm going to get into, by the way, for those of you who are FMC members, I want you to go watch course number 32. And on our last webinar, somebody said, it's a little bit hard to find all of your courses. We finally have direct links. We have direct links, guys. So if you go to foundingmoms.com/courses/32, I want you to watch it because one of our members, Katie, is an expert comedian. And she does a whole, thank you, Amanda, for putting the link in. There's the link. It's so good because it's called How to Find Your Funny. And she talks about, as a comedian, how you can make things enjoyable and you don't have to be so dry when you're pitching. And you don't have to be like, hi, my name is Jill and I run the Founding Mom. And they're like already half asleep and then you lose and they hit delete and you're done. She talks about finding your funny. If you're not an FMC member, go to foundingmoms.com/join. And join us today because then you're going to get all kinds of prizes anyway. Okay, so top 5 ways. I want to talk about the top 5 ways because I've already talked us 20 minutes into the webinar. Okay, number 1 way to pitch like you mean it. I kind of already started with this one. I want you to write down right now, preferably in the chat area, but on a piece of paper or in your Evernote or wherever you take notes. What is the one thing you're going to hone in on? And when I say that, I need you to not write down, Robbie, classes about hair, skincare, and wellness for women. Okay? I don't want you to write down a general thing. I want you to write down specifically, if I, Jill, were to write an article about you right now, and I want my article to go viral, what am I writing about? You could say, Jill, you're writing about classes for skincare. But, what's so special about it? What's the one thing you want me to know? Okay, everybody write that down. Lisa, you're confused. Welcome to our folks coming to Chicago for personal events. Ooh, you make gifting easy. And this could be because there are a lot of people flying in my face, but Lisa, you're providing welcoming packages at hotels for personal and corporate events to the hotel manager, to the people who show up to check in at the hotels. I need much more specificity. So that's the first thing you're going to do in order to pitch like you mean it. And by the way, today we are creating one pitch that you can use religiously for a while. Once you start seeing and feeling the success of using that and hearing back from people, I need you guys to then carve and craft up a new one, okay, which we'll do in the FMC. But today we're just doing one. So I know this is so hard to hone in. I know you're like, but I have more. It doesn't matter. We're just doing one, okay? Their packages for their whose clients. So, Lisi, this is awesome. I'm showing all of you who are watching. I'm reading, Lisi, really fast. This is how I read pitches that come into my inbox, too. And there's still a lot of words, and I still don't totally know. Look at what Regina did. Hi, Regina. Look what she did. Empowering women into greatness. Cool. That's cool. That's something I believe in. That's nice. But what are you talking about, Regina? That's not specific. We're getting specific today. We're pitching. We need super specificity. So if you're sitting there going, I'm still confused, that's good. That means something is starting to turn in your brain. I would like for you to use me as the person you're pitching. Let's pretend that I'm a writer for O Magazine. Massive circulation, and I want to do a profile on you or what you're selling. What am I writing about? Ooh, Nora is like one step ahead of me today. Top 3 regrets you hear from elders looking back on their life. Like instantaneously, that is something I know readers would love. But Nora, for the sake of this webinar, what do? You keep on coming up with very, very clever ways to pitch, which I love. You're ahead of the curve here. But what are you pitching? What do? You want to pitch tips, Susie, for the sake of these conversations? What do? You want to 3 tips that take a little break. I love it. Pitching something to a magazine is different than to your client. Lisi, not today, it's not. No. Okay, fine. Let's make me a client. Everybody, we're changing it up, even though it's not different. We're changing it up. Pitch me as though I'm a client. Okay? Because, by the way, if I'm a client and Regina's helping empower me to greatness, I'm in. If Nora's talking about elder regrets, I'm in. If Lisi, you didn't keep going. I'm outside. your outside controller. Liz, I want you to be wary of the word controller. For those of us who need to hire you and do stuff for taxes, I don't even know what a controller does. So if I don't know what a controller does, you're using industry language to try and sell a client, unless your clients are within your industry. But here's where a lot of you guys are not understanding language is so important. So important because a lot of you are used to the language in your industry, right? I don't really mean this, but Susie uses the word stylist. And for some people that she needs to style, they don't even know what a stylist is, or they associate the word stylist with somebody who works for the stars. And if I am somebody who looks like this, maybe I don't even know what a stylist is, I want to get you to Simple Town. So, okay, Lisi, so much easier. Sales department at hotels, destination management companies. Amazing. For pitching purposes, to pitch like you mean it, pick one today. You're just pitching one for now. Sales departments at hotels, up to you which one. And then what are you pitching to that specific one thing you just chose? The welcome packages for guests coming into the city. Okay, that's something I didn't know that your industry will know. You make it easy for your clients to fulfill that need. I love those words. So everybody turn to what Lisa just chatted about. Fulfill that need. So there are usually two reasons you want to pitch people with what you guys do. All of you. All inclusive. Service and product. It's because I have a need or I need my life to become more convenient. Those are two ways you're going to severely grab my attention, right? And so even if you're like, but I'm not about convenience, I sell the preservation of memories, Nora. I don't care because convenience, you're making it more convenient for me to preserve it, right? I might have a need I didn't even know was there. So when you say, Lisi, you're going to fulfill a need, immediately I stop looking through my inbox and hitting delete and I go, wait, she's fulfilling what kind of need? Maybe I have this need. Maybe I need it fixed. Do you follow what I mean? I want to walk you guys through like how I see what's coming in. You help people look and feel amazing in their clothes. Bingo. First of all, I know what clothes are. Second of all, I want to feel amazing. So there's a need that I have that I really want to feel amazing. And then we take it from there with Susie's and go, okay, well, how's she going to do that? Robbie, hands-on workshops and in-home lessons for hairstylists and makeup artists. I love that. What's the need? How are you making this more convenient? Even though it's kind of obvious, you need to spell it out. That's the art of pitching. You need to spell it out in a very concise way so that I don't have to spend time deciphering and dissecting your pitch from someone else's. And I know in 2 seconds, oh, she's answering this problem, this need, this inconvenience I have in my life. I'm going to go on with number 2. So you're going to hone in on one thing, all right? For some of you, this is going to take a while. For some of you, you're going to write 5 different pitches. For some of you, you're going to realize after you do all that work that you only need one pitch. I'm going to give you a personal example in a second. Number 2 way that you're going to pitch like you mean it. Jen, I love that, but I need way more specificity. I want to be more productive, but what are you talking about? Okay, number 2, brevity, brevity, brevity. We need to be brief, 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 brief. I can't say it 7 times fast. Brief, 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 brief. Brief! So brief. And this is also where everyone struggles. I get pitches from freaking professional PR companies that are like 17 paragraphs long. Kill me now. And they all want to describe in the first paragraph these things that they have to offer me. Second paragraph, all about the founder. How amazing the founder is. Like I've never read about an amazing founder before. And then stop with the paragraphs. No more paragraphs. No more freaking press releases, okay? Literally, unless somebody asks you for a press release, and usually that person is over 75, I want you to stop doing that and use email. And here's my formula that I wasn't going to give you, but I have to give it to you because it's so easy. Dear so-and-so. It literally cannot say to whom it may concern or you're fired. Dear so-and-so, comma, new line. You're going to ask a question. And that question is going to answer what kind of need I might have. Do you need to preserve memories in a better way? Do you need to get dressed in a more efficient fashion? Whatever your freaking question is, which you're going to figure out today, which you're figuring out right now. And by the way, you guys can help each other while I'm talking. Just talk over me. I need you guys to make sure you ask a question. Next line is going to be a 2 sentence paragraph answering your own question. Do you have a need for blank? I have the answer. It's this thing that I created. And then what you're going to do is, instead of love Nancy, love Jen, love Nora, you're going to ask the question again in a different way. Why? Because when I see a question mark on the way out of reading that email, that very short email that I do get to the end of, if I see a question mark, it's like an instant, what is the Pavlov's dog reaction? I'm going to hit reply on my keyboard right away because I saw a question mark. I'm more inclined to hit it. I might not, but I'm more inclined to. So you're going to go question, few sentences, question, love Jill. Put your name. Love Jill. And that's it. That's the whole pitch. That's the secret. That's the art of pitching, is that you guys are spending a lot of time writing and writing all of the amazing things that you offer, and you do it. I don't care. Nobody cares yet. This whole pitching game is not about telling the world what you do and how you do it and why you do it. That comes later. Pitching is literally a momentary getting of my attention to be interested enough that I ask for more. Okay? That's where you can go, okay, struggle is over. I don't need to fit everything into a pitch. I don't need to pitch 5 things that I do in my business. Right? You understand? I hope you understand. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Yes, I love all of it. I just see the word love. I love it. Number 3. Okay, a lot of you pitch. Maybe you've been doing it the way that I have just explained. Maybe you guys are honing. You've got one thing that's really short, and you're not hearing back. And that pretty much happens to every single person ever who pitches. Ever. You're not hearing back. What you need to do is follow up. And I'm going to suggest to you right now that you mark your calendar. And after you send out a pitch, you can either choose to put a reminder in your calendar and follow up 5 days or 7 days. Up to you. 5 days or 7 days. Sometimes I like to pitch on Mondays and follow up on Friday because it's fresh in the brain. Sometimes I like to give them a whole week because that's what some people give them a week. And then you're going to follow up regularly. And that is up to you again with your comfort level. I'm going to push you to say once a week for 4 weeks. Because here's the goal. You're either waiting for them to write you back at all and say, no thanks. I get a lot of those. I love those because that means they read it, they considered, they responded, they took the time. Or you get a response back with a question. Oh, can you send me more? Oh, I don't understand. Oh, can you explain this? Oh, whatever the response is, the goal is a response, period. You want more no's than silence. You don't want silence. Silence means it's like an invitation. It's a welcome to contact them again. Lisa, do you need a creative, reliable source for customer? Is that your pitch? You could squeeze that shorter, but I like it. Because if I'm in your industry and you know who you're pitching, yeah, my answer is yeah. I'll keep reading. Yes, that's great. I love it. So, follow up. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to take that pitch you honed today, and you're going to just rewrite it a tiny bit. You're not going to do things like, you remember that email I sent you last week? Because no, I don't. I deleted it. Hey, do you remember the email I sent you 2 days ago? No, I don't. I deleted it. Okay? You're not going to do a whole reminder thing. That expectation of me going and digging in my inbox is a big fat screw you. Don't do that. You're just going to take the pitch you wrote. You could write it again identically, but you don't want to do that. It's not thoughtful. It makes you look like you're lazy. You just want to do it again, tweak the question, tweak a word or two in the main area, and that's what you're going to send a follow-up with repeatedly. I actually don't like the one-liners people have been sending me. Hey, Jill, did you want to rent my dog? You know, like it just reminds me very vaguely of what they originally pitched, but doesn't fully remind me. And I'm like, why do they think I remember what the original pitch was? I don't. Okay. Do you need to provide your clients? Ooh. So Lisi's asking a great question now. You guys look at the chat area. There are 2 things she's asked. The first or the second. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There's no right answer. Test them both. If you have a list of 20 people you're pitching, test 1 to 10 of them. Test the other 1 to the 10. And then if you get like 1 response back from a group of 10 and none, maybe that one worked. You know what I mean? You keep on testing. We test. We test what we don't know. I originally like that you're testing here, and then you can test it in the FMC, and then you take it out to the world. So you're not wasting so much time wasting other people's time if it's not honed. See, Kim likes the second one better. Already, you have more intel than you did doing this by yourself. Oh my God. Okay, so follow up. I look like I have things in my hair. I don't, but it was just itchy for 1 second. Okay, fourth way. How are we doing on time? Oh my God, it's already 30 minutes, you guys. Fourth way. All right, so the way you're going to get to pitch like you mean it is before you finish honing your pitch and start sending it out to that list of people you want to pitch, right? By the way, I have just gathered a giant list of 200 people that I am about to start pitching for my own speaking stuffs. Before I do that, I am working my pitch out by asking questions of like-minded people who could potentially be interested. Let me be more specific. I'm going to be pitching to chambers of commerce, correct? So I got a list of different chambers of commerce around the country. Before I waste the inbox space that I'm going to take up with all of these important people who are decision makers, I'm going to pitch friends of mine who work at Chamber of Commerce, who might know people who work there, who do something similar to people who work at the Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to ask them lots of questions. I'm going to fill out more of the profile of what they're looking for, what they need. I think I know what they need, but I don't work at a Chamber of Commerce. Do you follow? So you guys want to go to people who are like the people you could pitch. Ask them questions. Listen to what they're telling you. You can do a little bit of research because this pitch thing that you're doing for your business is hopefully going to be something you do for years to come. So it's worth asking people what they like to receive. I used to, by the way, at the very beginning of my entrepreneurial career, I would pitch the press. I would pitch magazines, and I would put in so much unnecessary stuff. And it wasn't until I sat down with a reporter at a bar. I was sitting near somebody, and I said, "Oh, you do this for a living? Oh, I talk to you guys all the time." Acting so cool, like I knew what I was doing, like, "Oh, yeah, I interact with you guys on a daily basis." And then this person started going, "I hate these pitches that people like you send because," and I just got quiet and I sat there and I just listened. And it was basically, I was being talked to about exactly what I had just sent all of these people who work in this person's position. Point being, if you can find people who are recipients, talk to the real deal. We have had at Founding Exchanges, reporters show up and talk to us about exactly what they hate to get. How helpful is that, guys? For those of you who've been there, by the way, speaking of course number 17, I'm jumping ahead. Yeah, exactly. Susie, so helpful. Course number 17, you can actually watch in the FMC a course with a reporter. She was a big deal reporter in Texas. I sat down with Tracy Hatfield. If you go to course number 17, foundingmount.com/course/17, you can go watch Tracy Hatfield talk to you all about her top tips for how to pitch people if you're looking for press. She's not doing client, but if you're doing press. Thank you, Amanda, for putting the link in. Thank you. Okay. Susie has a very timely one. Have too many holiday events. Yeah. So I'm already going yeah. I don't have time to shop or spend more money on clothes that are just okay. Yeah. You could just end at clothes. Because who has money at the end of the holiday season? Robbie, helping women navigate the world of beauty and better inform them. So here's, Robbie, I love what you just did because it helps illustrate what most people do. You are like most people I see. Helping women navigate the world of beauty and better inform them through hands-on workshops, product knowledge, and in-home lessons. So that's 3 things you didn't hone to 1. Workshops, product knowledge, in-home lessons. I'm already I don't know which one as a customer, as a reporter, what do I focus on? Number 2, better inform. What does that mean, better inform? How are you doing that? Dumb it down for me. What exactly are you, helping women navigate is a really nice thought for a book or a blog post, but for a pitch, what does it mean? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to move on. I can come back to that. Number 5 way to pitch like you mean it. Here's the trick. Okay, I've said this before, I'm repeating it. For those of you who've seen me before. When you have somebody you're pitching, right before you hit the submit or whatever, you send, I forgot what it is, on the email, right before you do that, go and find the person on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or all of them. If you're doing a massive list, you don't have time to do this. If you have 20 people you're pitching as potential clients or hotels, you have time to do this. The person, let's pretend it's Eddie Bauer, and you're pitching Eddie Bauer. Right before you hit send on your email, you're going to go find Eddie on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter. If you can't find him in one of those places, it doesn't matter. And you're going to request a LinkedIn request. Here's the order, actually. I'm saying it out of order. I have it all ready. Like in one tab is LinkedIn, one tab is Twitter, one is Facebook. I follow the person on Twitter. I request a follow or a friendship. I can't speak the language right now. On Facebook. And then I hit submit on my email. So in Eddie Bauer's inbox, it says Jill Salzman and whatever the subject line is. And then I request a friendship on LinkedIn. And in the LinkedIn, I don't just do, I'd like to be friends with you on LinkedIn. I put in, hey, Eddie, I just sent you a pitch. Looking forward to connecting. I think that's literally exactly what I write. And then I hit submit on LinkedIn. Why? Because then Eddie is sitting there looking at his inbox. He might not see the follow on Twitter. He probably doesn't see the Facebook thing unless he's in there right now. But he will see an email come in from me, and then he's going to see a LinkedIn request. LinkedIn is more familiar to him. He's much more likely to open that first. He's going to see my photo. Oh, look, Jill's a real person. And then he's going to read my email, and it's just going to be a little more flavor, texture to my pitch. Does that make sense? So I like to sort of tag team all the places where we can be friends so that he knows that I've done my research. We can be interested in each other. He can interact. He can go to my LinkedIn and see all the experience I've had. So I'm not just some dummy who watched one webinar and is just pitching him. You know what I mean? Thank you. It is brilliant. Took years to figure out. But I highly recommend you guys do it because it honestly works most of the time. Here's the other plus to that tip. If Eddie Bauer accepts my LinkedIn and doesn't respond to me via email, now I have two places to chase him. And sometimes I will just stay in LinkedIn. Sometimes I notice that the person I've pitched is silent everywhere, crickets. And like 3 months later, they go through all these LinkedIn requests that they didn't see and they accept me. And what happens when somebody accepts you on LinkedIn? It gives you access to their email address. And maybe that email is not the email you had before, but maybe it's their personal Gmail, and maybe you're just going to pitch them there instead. You know what I mean? In fact, fun fact, recently was because my book just came out. No, stop it. You are so smart. I am just so experienced. I just came out with my book November 29th. It's called The Best Business Book in the World, according to my mom. And in order to pitch it, of course, I wanted to get in with Ellen DeGeneres, right? I want to be on the show, right? Hi, Ellen. This is my book. You'll love it. Let's laugh together. And we'll dance. Don't worry. And so I went on LinkedIn and I found all these people who book on her show. And I requested LinkedIn requests with all of them, every single one. And I emailed them all. And then this one guy wrote me back and he said, I don't work at Ellen anymore. And you would be like, oh, shoot, I'm going to go cry for a while, eat some Oreos, I'm done. I don't know why. He must have looked at my LinkedIn profile and realized, oh, she's not just a stupid idiot. She's a person with experience. And this book cover kind of looks funny. He wrote me back, and all he wrote was, here's the secret of where to pitch Ellen if you really want to get noticed. And he sent me this link to some website that I would never have found on my own. And totally helped me out. He did not contact anybody at Ellen for me, but he tipped me off in a way that I would never have gotten had I not a little bit stalked him and a little bit emailed him everywhere. Because he knew I was very serious about getting a response, right? Right. So don't worry, she's been pitched. So the other example, real life example I want to give you guys just happened yesterday. I want you guys to know, and I'm not talking about product pitching right now. We can come back to that in a second. But I ended up pitching. I saw that the Business Affairs Office of Consumer and Protection Agency or something like that has a new podcast in Chicago. And I pitched them, hey, I have a new book. It's coming out. You want me on there? And the lady did respond to me right away. And she said, oh, we're brand new. We're looking for guests. I said, here's what I want to talk about. My book. That was my pitch. You guys know I do a lot of things. All I pitched was my book. I got the response, I think, because I only pitched my book. She said, here's the date, here's the time. I went in yesterday for the interview and sat down with the commissioner of the Chicago Consumer Affairs Protection. She has the longest title in the world. And when we sat down, she had clearly separately done research on me. And on the mic, she started telling all of the listeners all about, and Jill does this, and Jill does this, and Jill does this, and Jill does this. And while I was kind of excited that she's sharing all these things, in my marketing mind, I was going, no. I pitched you only one thing. I only want your listeners to know one thing. So I'm on the air correcting her and redirecting her and literally pointing at the physical book that I brought her. Because even when you guys pitch, people will make crap up, is my point in telling you this. So no matter what you guys are pitching and working so hard at pitching, it's not worth waiting and getting it exactly perfect, because people are going to make up crap even so. So if you're sitting there and honing on how you're going to pitch service providers or your service to people who are going to buy what you sell, they're looking for one thing to hang on to interact with you, to say yes to you, to reply to you. And then the conversation can get started. Does that make sense? I really hope I've driven the point home. If you're confused, I need to move on to tools. If you're confused, ask things. Or if you think I'm not applying things to what you do in business, it's false. But ask me. And everybody comment on Susie's, because I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so tools. Tools. I want you to know tools that you can use. Here's a dare. I'm going to dare you guys. There's a tool I'm going to give you called alwaysbepitching.com, where you can go and watch other people orally pitch, which is also a helpful way to figure out and hone your actual pitch. Thank you, Amanda, for putting the tool in there, but I'm also going to challenge you guys. Go into the FMC Facebook group and either do a Facebook Live or upload a photo doing your pitch. If you have already done this, do it again. Pitches change over time. You can't ever practice your pitch enough. And honestly, sometimes when I'm writing a pitch to anybody, particularly potential members who might buy my service, I pace in my apartment. I pace. And I walk around and I just talk to myself and I say the words out loud. Because if I say a word like efficiency or progression or assuage, I don't know, bigger words, I hear when I say them, oh, that's too big. They're going to go like, what does she mean by that? And it helps me stop myself. So you can go to Always Be Pitching and not only watch other people's pitches, but you can upload your video there and you can have strangers comment on them. Okay? So you can take the same video that you make and either upload it to Always Be Pitching, upload it to the FMC. We would be happy to comment on it. We would be happy to make your pitch better. You can also post the text, but video, it helps in such a different way. And once you do the video, you'll realize that there are technologies out there that I don't have to recommend today, where you can upload your video, create a link, and then put that link in your emails to pitch people if you think that's more effective to, for example, Lisi's hotel managers. Chicago, worldwide, baby. Do the worldwide one. My second one. Amanda, will you post the slide? Hi, Carrie. I love you too. Okay, the slide bean link that I have for you guys is a little long. I hope Amanda has it. Oh, Amanda, I love you so much. She does. So listen, this is a link you can go to for lots of pitch deck examples. If you guys are pitching not the press, but you're pitching customers or clients or investors, this is mostly for people pitching investors. You can go and see how Uber pitched. You can go and see how, Airbnb pitched. You can see how the big guns do it to get lots of money. For those of you who are here because you want to pitch investors, I also want to say that looking through a pitch deck is wildly helpful to see, only because pitch decks come from years and years and years of people pitching other people. They have figured out a formulaic way to walk through slides of things people know, people want to see. So if you've never seen a pitch deck before, you would not know that financials are really important if you're pitching to investors. That kind of is obvious now that I said it. But you also might not know that talking about competitive folks, talking about other people in your industry might be helpful to you. You might find that it's not. But if Nora says something like, all the other ways to preserve memories suck, or Susie says, everybody else who goes out and helps you with styling buys the most expensive clothes and I don't. If you do a little comparison shopping for them, it can really help your pitch, if that's something that can fit. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So that's where number 2 is helpful, even if you're not pitching to investors. Number 3, are you ready? I got Harrow, helpareporter.com if you're pitching the press. LinkedIn, I already kind of talked about it, but if you guys are looking for sponsors, if you're looking for people to contribute money, if you're looking for people in your industry to post on your blog, LinkedIn, especially groups, Facebook, especially groups, are great places to go and look. What else did I want to tell you guys? Oh, a good one. If you're on Instagram, or even if you're not, you can search by hashtag in Instagram, right? And so if you want to put in hotels or hotel managers as a hashtag in Instagram, you're going to be able to find not only posts pertaining to it, but you're going to easily be able to figure out who are the influencers in my industry, right? This sounds complicated. It's not. For example, I know Kim in here gives advice to other parents about how to talk to their kids about sex. So if you went and you hashtag search parent educators, sex parents, I don't know who's creating that hashtag. You also probably know the hashtags in your industry that a lot of people are using. For example, in the Founding Moms world, a lot of people use the hashtag mom boss. A lot of people use the hashtag girl boss. So those are hashtags I like to use to just look and see what's happening, who's posting more often than not. Carrie has had a lot of success with Haro. A lot of people have. It takes a little bit of time investment. You get an email as many times a day as you want, but I think it's 3 times a day if you want to get a list of reporters looking for people just like you, who run businesses just like yours. And you have immediate access to them. It's anonymous, but you respond to them with your pitch. And what's fun about that is if you have a brand new pitch after today, you can go ahead and you can pitch them your different pitches, different people, your different pitches, because it's all anonymous, so it feels less scary. And because you'll see those people are ready to respond, much more so than a cold pitch. They're much readier to respond. Okay, forget that. For those of you who are in the FMC, I want you to go watch course number 33. It is called Get Practical with PR, another PR course, because I think PR is so important, as you guys well know, with Catherine Merritt. But for those of you who earlier, I forgot who brought up that, well, this is not, I'm not pitching PR, I'm pitching products. It's all the same thing. So if you go watch what Catherine Merritt advises, the bits and pieces of advice, you will be able to cull the perfect pitch for you and for your business. For those of you who are not members, now's my fun time. I'm just going to take like 3 minutes, and I'm going to tell you that if you join today, go to foundingmoms.com/# #join, and you join for either $35 a month, or you can do an entire year in one go. Either membership gets you not only a monthly membership to the most amazing place on earth. We have video courses, forum, directory. I'm going to forget things. Business coaching program. We are soon coming out with a virtual assistant program. We have, oh my God, what else am I forgetting, guys? Anyway, doesn't matter. So much stuff in the FMC that today, if you join in the next 3 hours before 3 o'clock Central Time, I am going to give you also 2 VIP coaching sessions with yours truly, where we're going to do this for an hour together just on your business. We're going to solve all the problems. Not really, but a lot of them. And we're going to do one-on-one. You're going to get 2 of those sessions and the choice of 1 of 3 options I have. Spend an hour with Sarah Corbin of Free Fly Marketing. If you want to plan out your marketing for 2019 and you want to go through exactly what you should be doing, publicity, social media, email newsletters, everything, Sarah Corbin is your gal, and she's offering a free hour to anybody who joins the FMC in the next 3 hours. Or if you're like, I got my marketing down, but I need to get a handle on this social media crap. Amanda is a freelance writer offering a social media audit of up to 2 of your channels. Dude, that's huge. Will you do that for me, Amanda? Just kidding. I already hired her. Which is why I'm recommending her. She'll tell you what you're doing right and what you can change. She'll create a week's worth of content for 1 channel. If you love social media but you hate coming up with content, you're going to want this prize. Pretty hardcore. And I don't recommend anybody that I don't love and think is actually worth their salt. If you don't need social media because you are the expert and you want Camilla's help with strategic bookkeeping for 2019. Camilla helps small businesses and mom entrepreneurs decrease expenses and make more money strategically through sound bookkeeping practices. I think all of those sound amazing. You can purchase all of them if you want, but if you guys join today, you get 1 of 3, either Free Fly Marketing with Sarah Corbin, you get Amanda to whip up social media into a whole new thing for you, or you get Camilla to help you with bookkeeping so that your new year is as awesome as my headband. You know what I mean? Regina, did I pay you to join? No, that's not what she meant. You get what she meant. Thank you guys for shouting the good shout. So we have a couple more minutes. We, in fact, have 10 minutes. This is so much time for me to answer questions. If you feel like I've got it, I know how to pitch, I've done this, this is so great, you can go now. But if you have questions or you're like, I don't really get it, or I want to get better, or here's my pitch, let's go over it. Oh, let me run through the top 5 again. I love that. Thank you. Okay, top 5 ways to pitch like you mean it. What did we say? The first one, hone in on the one thing your people should know about your business. Just pick one. You can do other ones later, okay? You don't have to do them all in one. We're doing a short pitch just based on one thing. Then we can move to being brief, so brief, super brief. Yes, so brief. You got to be short. It's just an email. It's not a press release. You're not sending attachments. You can include links if you want to hyperlink words. That's ideal. Ambulance. It's totally ideal. City of Chicago. And then you're going to just make it really short in your email, okay? You're going to follow up. You're going to put in your calendar. You're going to schedule the follow-ups every week. You're going to follow up forever. In fact, a lot of you do follow up for 2, 3, 4 times, and then you just give up because you're like, fine, they hate me. They don't hate you. They're busy. On your follow-up email, do you even acknowledge it's a follow-up? Good question. If it's, I want to say that depends, and I think you should go with your gut on that, but I normally pretend I'm just pitching again. Sometimes I will go, hey, do you remember that from last week? I can't stand, though, when I receive it, so I tend to steer clear of it. I don't like the whole, remember, dummy, is the vibe I get, even if you're being nice about it. I would much rather you just pitch me again. And if I see it the third time, guess what? I'm going to be like, you can stop emailing me. No, this doesn't fall within the purview of my review or what I want to buy or whatever. But I just want to be pitched well. And I love seeing persistence, by the way. If there's a really crappy PR person who sends me a really crappy pitch, but they pitch me like 5 times, I write them back and I go, your pitch is terrible. I'll tell them, your pitch is awful, but I love your persistence. Keep it up. And then they usually go away. Or they come back with a better one. 4th thing that's your top 5 ways to pitch. Ask questions to people in your industry or to people who are like the people you're pitching. You can also go back to former clients, former people you worked with, and say, hey, what did you like that I do? What are the things that you loved working with me about, for, with, when? Listen to the words that they use when they respond to you. If they say, I really love how you made it convenient, bingo, you're going to use the word convenient on all your pitches. If they say, I love how friendly you were, bingo, you're going to use the word friendly. Take their simple words and use them in your pitch. Listen to people. Go back to customers. Ask them. The 5th thing, is my tricky way to go and use LinkedIn and use Facebook and use Twitter as a way to gently stalk. You're going to jock people. That's what we're going to call it, because you're not really stalking. You're going to jock them. I just made that up. And you're going to go and you're going to just sort of connect with them everywhere. Make it known that you really mean it and you're not just a PR person pitching like a boring PR person 100 times because you're being paid to pitch and not because you mean it. You know what I mean? I really meant it when I called this webinar Top 5 Ways to Pitch Like You Mean It, because you want to look like you genuinely are behind the thing that you're saying. Okay, I think hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys know that you're going to watch course 32 so you can find your funny and you don't have to send a boring pitch. You should write these pitches, by the way, like you're just chatting. You know, they're just people on the other end of the pitch. The more formal you are does not mean the more likely they are to respond to you. In fact, one thing the commissioner said to me yesterday during the interview of our podcast that I talked about earlier, she said to me, I love how real you are. And you know what I realized from that? I wasn't wearing this headband. She doesn't have people who come on the air and sound like regular people. She has people who come in and go, well, my business is this thing and we're amazing and we make tons of money. You know, and they're not being real. And if you're just yourself in these pitches, it's refreshing. People will go like, oh, I can get back to somebody who's just a person. Kim, caring parents often need support when talking to you. Kim, I don't know who you're pitching here, but am I the caring parent? Yeah, I would skip the caring parents part because you can just say, do you need support when talking to kids about sex and relationships? Or is this the second paragraph? I help parents walk through the talk. Ooh. So if you're pitching me and I'm a parent, stop using the word parents. Talk to me. This is so funny. This is just what I meant. I can help you walk through the talk. You know, I might read it and go, I don't need help. Every time my kids walk through the door, I say, penis. Like, it might not be for me, but it doesn't matter. Practicing more conversational stuff is going to help you be a real person who is easier to reply to. Second sentence, I've developed a process to use your own clothes in a new and creative way. You can take out new and in a creative way. You get to the point quicker. Getting more out of your wardrobe investment. I love that. Learn my top 3. So when you say something, everybody can pay attention to this. When you say something like learn my top 3 tips, I don't know if you mean, do I have to hire you and sit at a classroom? Do I read a book? How am I learning from you? This is the part where you want to get more specific. And I can't remember if in your first sentence you say how. But if you mean, are you pitching parents? Who are you pitching? Are you pitching other people, the press? Who are you pitching? Because one little word change can help direct this. This could go to customers and PR, but you want to get on a morning show. Okay. You've developed, so second paragraph, I'm rereading. Process, a process. And you know what? The PR person or the customer will be like, ooh, what's her process? That's cool. Getting more out of your wardrobe investment. You don't want me to learn as PR people. You want to show off your top 3 tips. I want to teach. I want to make it active. What do you want to do? You know? And then I'm going to be like, yay, come on. Okay, I think I got across everything I wanted to say. You're going to watch 3 courses. Yeah, I think that was it. Okay, you have to go now. Thanks for coming, guys. If nobody has questions, I'm here for 3 more minutes. If anybody has questions, ask away. If you have to go, I love you guys. You're going to send that to producers and reporters. Yeah, I would just tell them exactly what you're going to do. You could try a couple of those pitches talking to the PR person as though they're the person you're going to do. You can pitch to them and they'll get that you're doing this for the viewers. Lacey, you're so welcome. I hope it made sense, Lacey. I hope I wasn't too hard on you. But if you want to pitch in the FMC, we can keep working on it. Do I recommend a good PR person, Angelique? Oh, I love it. She's like, I don't want to do this at all. I just want a PR person. Having just hired a PR person and looking through about 12 PR people in Chicago for my book launch, I can tell you that I cannot recommend a good PR person. There are a couple names I'm happy to give you outside of this webinar of people who know a lot of people, of people who know the 1 or 2 people you might not be able to figure out how to get in touch with. But I noticed now for years I've known this, and then I gave up and was like, you know what, I'm going to hire a PR person to do this for me for my book launch. It's not worth it. It is so not worth the money you would spend where take the time and just pitch those people yourself. They're not the only reason to hire a PR person truly is because they might have a direct line to the president of the company, to the person who makes decisions, but all the talent bookers of all the TV shows, all the editors-in-chief of all the magazines are there on LinkedIn. You don't need somebody else to get to them if your pitch is creative. And by the way, a lot of people ignore PR people, so PR people take your money, and then they go, if anybody on this webinar has had a really good experience with a PR person, let us know. I'd love to know too. No. It depends on the company, but you would normally, there's one company I can think of that does something extremely specific. They are called Guest Booker. You can contact them. They're really expensive. Their whole job is to get you on TV shows. They have ins you don't. They have ins with people who will listen to them a little bit more often than you, but they also could take your thousands of dollars a month and never get you a single landing. I have done a lot of TV. I have never had a PR person reach out on my behalf. I looked at Guest Booker, and it was just not worth the money if I can do it myself. So I might be the wrong person to make recommendations, but that, maybe ask other people in the FMC. I'm sure they'll be able to help you. My pleasure, Carrie. I'm so glad you were here. Good luck, everybody. Pitch hard. Post in the FMC if you need to. Otherwise, let us know about results you get, because I promise you with this stuff you're going to get results. I have been getting results. You are going to get results. Happy holidays. Happy eggnog. Happy New Year. I will see you guys in January for our next webinar, and I'll see you in the FMC before then. Okay? Love you guys. Okay, I'm going to go now. Okay, bye.